I am the light of my soul, beautiful, I am bountiful. I am blessed, I am. There's a light in the soul that is unchanging, eternal, and beyond all fear, the Bhagavad Gita tells us. But many of us are overstimulated, overwhelmed, dysregulated, and underrooted in the light of our souls and the power of our divinity. And I want to spend the month of March and the holy days of Lent and Ramadan, where we can learn something from fasting and abstaining and come back into contact with the power of the light and the love in our own souls. Viva la revolution. It's a spiritual revolution, my friends. And this is how we serve the revolution. So we are no longer pretending not to be living in a collapse, but we are also living in an emergence. These things are happening at the same time. This welcoming of spring and the new year of the astrological new year in March and spring equinox is a reminder that this emergence, that the new way of being is also right here, right now. And that you and I get to be a part of this revolution, this emergence with intention and consciousness towards the good. You know, we are seeing life itself under attack. The people we love, the plants, the animals, the planet, all of these things that we are seeing that seem to be under real threat and danger. And I won't deny that. But the reason we are dysregulated and overwhelmed and enraged and sometimes getting sucked down by despair or numbing or turning away and spiritual bypassing, all of those things is because of one reason. And it's love. We don't get freaked out about anything if we don't love it. We aren't worried about somebody in our lives because we don't love them. It all comes from love. And it is love that moves as the neighbor blowing a whistle to alert their beloveds in Minneapolis. It is love that moves as the lover who reaches to embrace with comfort and reassurance. It is love that moves as the parent who fiercely protects and represents and advocates. It is love that moves as the leader on the front line, standing as a physical barrier of protection. It is all for love. And this love, that is God, that is the divine, is available in you. But you and I have to make ourselves available to it, right? We have to be willing to be the way love shows up, the vessel, the way of love. As Teresa of Avila, one of my favorite teachers, tells us, the hands and feet of the divine are your hands and feet, my hands and feet. And yes, we are overwhelmed by the notifications and the news cycles and this absolute shock doctrine and divisiveness and the performative spirituality. We're watching our heroes fall for good reason. We are caught up in who we are presenting ourselves to be on screens and who we actually are in our real lives. But I want to share with you the common scripture shared during Lent in the Christian and Catholic traditions. Yet even now, return to me with your whole heart. Return to me with your whole heart, with fasting, weeping, and mourning. Rend your hearts, not your garments, and return to God. Return to me with your whole hearts. Your whole heart needs to be called back into your conscious experience so that you can return to the divinity, the power, the light of the soul that is in you right now. And return with your whole heart and rend your hearts, not your garments. Our hearts, if we allow ourselves to be present to the totality of what is happening in our lives and in the world, our whole hearts may feel torn in two. Maybe rend our hearts. We get to be feeling the feelings we have and return them, bring them to the divine. Bring them to your spiritual practice. Bring them to your communities. Bring them to your lovers. Not this wailing in an untrue way, right? The venting and the posting and the arguing and the trolling. This is the rending of the garment of our time. And the divine is saying, no, bring me your broken heart. I can hold you. Bring your despair, bring your sorrow, and do it through the weeping and the mourning and the fasting, the emptying yourself. This, my friends, as the great Saint Sufi Rabia explains, is a route to our divine powers. And she says, when she was asked why she fasted so strictly, she said, the bowl is not useful because it is empty. Rabia says, the bowl is not useful because it's full. It's useful because it's empty. So too with the soul. Yeah? Can you feel that? That if you and I can put down and get out of the way, remove the busyness, the productivity, the false beliefs that somehow you are not enough, that we as the people are not strong enough, that there's nothing for us to do, that we can remove the activities that we use to distract ourselves and numb ourselves, whatever that is for you. That we can remove and empty ourselves of what we're consuming so that we can be the empty bowl, so that we can empty ourselves and then become conscious and come into contact with the divine that is right there. Even when we're mourning and grieving and raging. That we empty ourselves of the BS and the false beliefs. We empty ourselves of the striving and performing in hopes to be what? Liked, loved, accepted, belong. And yet when we come together on purpose, with purpose, to render our hearts, to wail a righteous wail, to share our true despair, our true heartbreaks, our joys, our celebrations. We bring our whole hearts to one another as the divine, knowing that love that God shows up in the soul of you and me. And when we empty ourselves of all the bullshit, like really, our brands, right? Our reactivity, all because we are in this 5-second cycle of scroll, react, respond, heart, like, say the things, rush to this, rush to that, do more. And when we empty ourselves of that and we come together in community, in spiritual community, to remember, we break fast together in iftars. We come together at the fish fry at our local community church to break bread and remember to return to God, to return to the light of our own souls, to be the place God shows up, love shows up, because we've gotten all this crap out of the way. So that we can be the place love moves on the front lines, in our neighborhoods, in our families, at our workplaces. So we can be the vessel, the conscious participants in the spiritual revolution that matters, fully alive, fully present in the divine and unique ways that only you can be, that only I can be. O you who believe, fasting is prescribed for you as it was prescribed to those before you, so that you may become conscious of God. From the Quran. Fasting is prescribed so that you may become conscious, so that you can come into contact with the light of your soul, the power of your soul, the love of your soul that is beyond all fear, as the Bhagavad Gita teaches us. So that, as it says in the biblical scripture, Christian scripture, you can return to God. And it doesn't say, none of these texts say, I want you to be perfect when you return. I want you to have no problems. I want you to only fast and only return to God and only become conscious of me and only find the light of your soul when everything is exactly right in your life. No, we do it every year. We do it every time of this season as we prepare for the new year, as we ready ourselves to emerge so that we can blossom as life, as love, as God, as the divine, as truth has intended us to blossom and be every year. This opportunity, and this year, and this moment in history, you and I can empty ourselves and return to the truth of who we are and join the revolution, the spiritual revolution of truth, of wholeness, of our inherent connection to one another. Join the front lines with me as the truth of who you are. And we do this by emptying in solidarity, right? You can fast in solidarity with those who are hungry. You can empty to make room in your own consciousness to remember. You can remove what is happening in your day-to-day life that is numbing and distracting you. And you can remember how to hear what is true and real, how to focus your attention on what is beautiful, and how to contribute to that beauty and truth and the reality we want to move in. We want to have our breath and our bodies and our being in. The world we want to be living in that is truly good and right for all. Fasting and abstaining, these practices that run through all the faith traditions and indigenous practices, is so that you and I can join the revolution, true and whole and holy, with the gifts we've been seeded with, so we may be the blossoms, the fruit that is needed in this time. I'll leave you with our community blessing for the month of March. May you empty, may you make room, may you welcome and become more of who you are. May spirit rise in you, through you, for the greater good. And so it is.